Everyone mocked human for taking an ugly alien wife until the night she revealed her true body. The wedding had been small, hurried, and scandalous by human standards. No grand hall, no shower of flowers, no smiling relatives. Just a lonely outpost chapel on the edge of the Galactic Coalition's frontier, and 2 signatures on a digital bond. Elias Rayner, a young human engineer, had married Zeyra of the Kthari. The Kthari were not a race admired for their looks. Their skin was gray and scaled, their limbs longer than seemed natural, their wide, lidless eyes unsettling to most. Some even whispered they looked like half-formed nightmares. When Elias brought her back to the mining colony on Kesra 9, people didn't bother to hide their stares. "Why her?" the bar owner muttered aloud, polishing a glass as Elias entered with Zeyra at his side. "She's hideous," a miner snorted. "Man must have lost a bet." Zeyra heard it all. She lowered her head, shoulders curving inward, and said nothing. Her clawed hands clutched Elias's arm tighter each time. Elias would only smile stiffly and lead her away. He had seen something in her no one else cared to see. Gentleness, quiet strength, and an intelligence that shone through her silence. But explaining that to men who measured worth by beauty was like explaining the stars to the blind. The weeks passed, and the mockery grew. Neighbors whispered louder, laughter followed them down corridors, and invitations to gatherings never came. Elias bore it, but sometimes late at night, when Zeyra's breath trembled beside him, he felt anger boil in his chest. One evening, as he fixed a power junction in the settlement square, 2 men cornered him. "She can't even eat at the same table without people losing their appetite," one sneered. "Why chain yourself to a monster? There are human women enough, even off-world." Elias's jaw clenched. "She's my wife. Say another word about her, and you'll regret it." The men laughed. They didn't take him seriously. To them, Elias was the fool, the human who threw away his future on a grotesque alien. Then came the Festival of Suns, the colony's largest annual gathering. Lanterns shimmered across the square, children darted between stalls, and music echoed off steel walls. Every colonist attended, dressed in bright fabrics, faces glowing with pride. Elias brought Zeyra. She wore a dark cloak, hood drawn, as if hoping invisibility might shield her. The laughter began before they had even reached the first stall. "Ugly witch! Why's she here? She'll spoil the festival." Elias reached for her hand, but Zeyra stopped him. Her head lifted slightly, her eyes unblinking as if she had made a choice. That night, the festival was disrupted by a different kind of noise, alarms blaring across the colony. A fleet of raiders descended from orbit, their ships cutting through the night sky like jagged blades. Panic rippled through the crowd. Explosions thundered in the distance. Families scattered. The settlement's meager defenses sparked to life, but the raiders were many. Too many. In the chaos, Zeyra turned to Elias. Her voice, low and steady, cut through the screaming. "Do you trust me?" Elias hesitated only a moment. "Always." She nodded, unfastened her cloak, and stepped into the open. The crowd stopped running. Gasps and cries rose into the smoke-filled air. For the first time, they saw her shed the false, muted shell she wore daily. Zeyra's gray, scaly skin shimmered, then split like a husk. From it unfolded a being of breathtaking radiance. Her body glowed with translucent silver, threads of light pulsing across her like living constellations. Her eyes ignited like twin stars, her elongated limbs stretching into elegant wings of energy. The ugly alien became something divine. She soared above the square, wings unfurling, and released a cry that shook the very air. The raiders' weapons faltered, their ships trembling as beams of light from her body sliced through the darkness. Where Zeyra flew, raiders fell. Flames died under her brilliance. Shields crumbled. One by one, enemy ships exploded into fragments. The colonists watched in stunned silence as their supposed monster fought like a goddess of war, each strike precise, each movement burning with fury and grace. Minutes later, the sky cleared. The raiders fled, their survivors limping into hyperspace. Smoke curled above the colony, but the people below stood unharmed, wide-eyed and speechless. Zeyra descended slowly, her radiance dimming back into the gray, scaled form they once mocked. Her wings folded in, her glow vanished, until only the quiet alien wife remained. She staggered slightly, weakened, but Elias rushed to catch her. For a heartbeat, silence reigned. Then whispers spread through the crowd. "She saved us. She's beautiful. A guardian, not a monster." The same miners who had mocked Elias now bowed their heads in shame. The women who had turned away now stepped forward with tears in their eyes. Children gazed up at Zeyra, no longer afraid but in awe. Elias looked at them all, his voice hard. "You called her ugly. You mocked what you could not understand. Tonight you live because of her." No one dared answer. Zeyra, trembling, placed a hand on Elias's chest. "They see now," she whispered. He kissed her forehead gently. "They'll never see you as I do. But they will never forget what you are." From that night on, no one mocked Elias for choosing Zeyra. The colony spoke of her with reverence, calling her the star-born guardian. But to Elias, she was simply his wife, the woman who, beneath scales and silence, had carried a universe of light. And when the stars shone over Kesra 9, every soul remembered the night the ugly alien wife revealed her true body and saved them all. Zeyra descended slowly, her brilliance fading, the radiant wings dissolving into threads of silver mist until only the gray-scaled form remained. Her body trembled with exhaustion, but before she could collapse, Elias caught her in his arms. For a long moment, the colony was silent. Smoke still curled in the distance, lanterns flickered in the ruined square, and all eyes rested on the woman they had ridiculed. The same voices that once jeered now whispered in awe. "She saved us. She's not a monster. A guardian from the stars." Children peeked from behind their parents, no longer afraid but mesmerized. Hardened miners who had laughed at Elias stood with their heads bowed in shame. Elias held Zeyra close, his voice carrying across the stunned gathering. "You mocked her. You mocked me. You called her ugly, worthless, less than human. But tonight, every one of you breathes because of her." No one dared argue. The truth blazed too brightly to deny. Zeyra's luminous eyes met Elias's, soft despite her fatigue. "They see now," she whispered. He pressed his forehead to hers, his voice low but steady. "They'll never see you exactly as I do. But they will never forget who you are." And from that night forward, no one mocked Elias for marrying Zeyra. The colony that once sneered now spoke of her with reverence, calling her the star-born guardian. But to Elias, she was simply his wife, the woman who carried both gentleness and fury, silence and radiance, scales and starlight. When the stars lit the skies of Kesra 9, the people remembered the night the ugly alien wife revealed her true body and saved them all.